In this part of the e-learning course, we will look at what kind of data is needed in order to do market analysis and how you can get hold of these data. The review is divided in 3 videos. In the first video, we will look at the production data that is needed in order to build up the supply curve. The second video will focus on the demand data that is needed in order to build up the demand curve. In the third and final video, we will look at transmission data. These transmission data, they are very important because they are defining which area will get the same prices. In the third video, we will also look at the financial data that are important in order to make market analysis. The learning objectives there are: you must know how to find data for power production units that will make you able to set up supply curve and do market analysis. Normally, when you do market analysis, you will not optimize the production of solar and wind units. Instead, you would subtract the profiles for wind and solar from the demand curve, and then you would optimize the production on thermal units that will fulfill the corrected demand. In order to do these market analysis, you must also know how to find hourly profiles for wind and solar and run-of-river production units in the EU countries. And you must know how to estimate the profiles in countries outside the EU. And finally, if you're going to do investment analysis, you must also know where to find technical data for most types of power generation technologies. The content of this video is that I will show you how to find power unit data that is important and available. I will also show you how to obtain commercial data that is not immediately available, and how to find technical capacity data from the ENSO-E database. I will also show you how you can get data from a private company called Enerdata. And when you have these technical data, I'll also show you how to estimate efficiencies and operation and maintenance cost based on these technology data, and how you can find production profiles for photovoltaic, wind and run-of-river plants, and finally how you can get access to general technology data. In this video here, I will focus on how to set up the supply curve here. In another video, I will show you how to make the demand curve. Setting up the supply curve, what we need to know is the name of the unit in order to identify the unit, and we also need to know the marginal costs of the unit in euros per megawatt hour and the capacity of the unit. The technical unit data that is important and available in official databases, and that you need to know in order to do market analysis, is the name of the unit. You use that as an identification, which price area the unit belongs to, the unit's status. Is it planned? Is it under construction? Is it in operation? The commissioning date, the decommissioning date, the unit's maximum power capacity, the technology used by the unit, the fuels and forms of energy the unit uses, the unit's GIS coordinates. There are a number of data that is very important, but they are not available normally because they are regarded as commercial data. And these data is the unit's efficiency, the unit's variable operating costs, the unit's startup cost, the unit's startup time, the unit's regulation speed, the unit's SO2 NOx emissions. These values here can normally be estimated based on technology data concerning fuels, commissioning time, environmental units, etc. When we are focusing on the power market simulator, we only use the unit's efficiency data and the unit's operational cost, variable operational cost. The other data here is not applied in the power market simulator. Here I will show you how to get access to capacity data for categories of electricity production technologies. And you can get these capacity data from the ENTSO-E transparency platform. So here I've looked at Germany and Luxembourg here, and you can see how the total capacity of nuclear power plants in year 2023 here in Germany, Luxembourg, and you can see the capacity of solar, photovoltaic, and fossil gas plants. If you're doing market analysis where you not are focusing on individual units, but you are satisfied with working with groups of technologies, you can get the data from ENTSO-E database. If you want to get access to data for countries outside the EU, you have to buy these data from data suppliers. In the Power Market Simulator, we bought data from a company called Enerdata. And here I will show you the data we have bought. We bought data for more than 180 countries in the world. Here you have all the countries. Here you can see the total installed capacity in these countries, and you can see the source code and the source wording here. And when we go down here, you can see that we also have another group of data here where we say what is the amount of hydro capacity in all these countries. Here I have only showed the data for Australia. So you can get, but there is data for all the countries here also for hydroelectric capacity. And the hydroelectric capacity is divided between large unit, small unit, dam, pump storage, run-of-river. And then you can also see here that there are data for nuclear power, for thermal power capacity, and the thermal capacity divided between coal, lignite, and oil and gas, biomass and waste, and divided between cogeneration and single-fired electricity units here based on oil, coal, gas, and combined cycle units here. You can also see here that there are total capacity for wind and solar here and geothermal capacity. When getting access to such a database, you can also have this do your market analysis based on groups of technologies. But if you want to make market analysis based on a more detailed representation of power units, then you need to buy these data from data suppliers. In the Power Market Simulator, we have also bought data, these kinds of data from Enerdata. And I will show you here the more detailed data for a number of units worldwide. and in the database you can see for each unit here, you can see what country it belongs to, the unit name here, the status, the operator, the date of commissioning, the date of decommissioning, if there is a date of decommissioning. And you can also see the category, the fuel that is used, the technology applied, and you can see the capacity here, the net capacity, and you can see the city the plant is situated in, and the GIS coordinates here. If you want to make power market analysis that are much more detailed, then you need to buy this kind of databases. You can also buy it from, for instance, from Platts. Not all the cells in the spreadsheet that we have bought from Enerdata is filled out. So in order to be sure that you have all the data, you have to do some estimates in order to fill out all the gaps in the spreadsheet. And this is done in the Power Market Simulator is shown in this link here in a video with this link here. Now we know to get access to all the technical data that are available in official databases, but we still do not know the efficiency of the units and the operational and maintenance cost. These data, they are considered commercial, and you are not able to get this on official databases. So we need to do some estimates in order to find the efficiency and the operational and maintenance cost. And the estimate we do here is based on a knowledge that we know that a coal-fired unit will have a lower efficiency than a gas-fired combined cycle unit. We also know that if you have an old unit, it will have a lower efficiency than a new unit. We also know that the operational and maintenance cost will increase the older the plants are. So based on these technology data here, data commissioning, the technology used here, we will, for each of these units here in the database, we will get an estimate of the efficiency and the operational and maintenance costs. When we do market analysis covering a whole year, we will normally not include wind and solar in the optimization. Instead, we will take the demand hour by hour, and from this demand we will subtract the production profile for wind and for solar, and this corrected demand here is the demand curve that will have to be covered by thermal units, and it is the thermal units that will set the marginal price in each of the price areas. In order to do market analysis covering a whole year, we need to know the profiles for wind and solar on an hourly basis. And I will now show you how you can get access to these profiles. Here, if you go on the website here, NSOE, the transparency platform, you can say, I want to know, I want to have generation data here for, in this case here, I've chosen DK1. And then you say, okay, this, I want the data for year 2021. And then you can download the yearly data here in an Excel file here. And when you do so, you will get this Excel sheet here. And here you can see hour by hour for a whole year. Here you can see the production on solar, waste, wind onshore, wind offshore. So here you get the hourly production for 8,760 hours. What you need to do here is that you have to copy the hourly production on the wind and onshore, offshore, and photovoltaic, and make your own Excel sheet or your own database and put these values into your own database. So here you will have an Excel sheet for instance, for onshore wind, for all the price areas, and this here will be the profile, a normalized profile here for DK. In this case, it's DK1. In the power market simulator, we only use these profiles for onshore wind and offshore wind in the scenario model. For photovoltaic, we also use the values in the scenario model, but we also use the data in PMS hourly. I'll show you why we do that in the next slide. Here you can see a picture of the power market simulator. And you can see here that the user can change the season here and change the day type, if it's a Saturday or a Sunday or working day. And the user can also change the hour here during the day. And when the user, for instance, say I want to do a calculation here during nighttime, then the power market simulator will collect data for the price area you are working with here, and from this hourly profile, so that if it is during nighttime here, the solar power will be 0, and if it is during summer and in the middle of the day, the solar power will be around 90% or 100%, depending on what hour and season and day type the user chooses to calculate. The solar power will get data from the hourly profile on a yearly basis. I'll show you how this works in the next slide. If the user chooses to say that we want to do a calculation during winter time, then we will take data from this special week in January month here. And here, these values here is from the hourly profile for solar each day here. And then we'll make an average. And this average here is for a working day. And here, these values here is for Saturday and Sunday. And these figures here, they are used in the power market simulator when we do a calculation on an hourly basis. And for the other 3 seasons here, spring, summer, and fall, we do the same type of approximation. We say that if it is a spring, it is this specific week in spring. In summer, it is this specific week in summer, and in fall, it is this specific week we are focusing on. If you would do a calculation on an area or country that is outside the EU, you must do some approximations. And what we do in the power market simulator is that we say that the profile we will use for photovoltaic, wind and water is exactly the same as for Germany, Luxembourg. So the profile here, and it is of course a normalized profile here. These normalized values here is the same as for Germany, Luxembourg. And the maximum here value here is 1. And when we then do a calculation in, for instance, Turkey, we would calculate based on the data from Enerdata, we would calculate the maximum photovoltaic capacity in Turkey, and then we will multiply this maximum capacity on these profile values here, and then we would get the hourly values of photovoltaic in Turkey. This is how it is done in the power market simulator. Another very good source of data, technology data, is the technology catalog here from the Danish Energy Agency. In this catalog, you can get data for efficiency levels of the technologies, new technologies. You can get data for lifetimes, availabilities, and you can also get economical data. Here is a link to this catalog here. In this video, I've shown you how to get access to the data that is necessary in order to set up the supply curve. In the next video, I will show you how to get access to the data that is necessary in order to set up the demand curve. See you there.